Woke up in Paris, saw this majestic building, realized that it's quite the climb to the top. Then I realized that it's January 29th, 2025, which marks the 30th anniversary of the last time the 49ers climbed to the very top. That was the Super Bowl in the 1995 season, exactly 30 years ago today. San Francisco 49, the San Diego Chargers 26. What do the 49ers have to do to get back to that point? Because I know that the fan base is frustrated. It's been a tortured 3-decade wait since then. But we can take some lessons from how the 49ers performed on this day 30 years ago. We can look back at Mike Shanahan, 49ers offensive coordinator back then. He schemed up a plan for that game against the Chargers that had Steve Young throwing 8 touchdown passes. Steve ended up throwing 6, which remains a Super Bowl record to this day. And when George Seifert took him out of the game early in the fourth quarter, Mike Shanahan was upset. He phoned down to the field and he started yelling at George Seifert and he said, "Why did you take him out of the game? He was supposed to throw 8 touchdown passes, not just 6. That's how dialed in the 49ers were back on that day in 1995. They were so dialed in that they knew they were going to throw for 8 touchdown passes, and they were still upset about a record in the Super Bowl. So we take the lessons forward to this 2025 season and beyond as the 49ers try to get back to the top. We see the maniacal focus that they had back then. That's the kind of focus that they have to regain moving forward. They have to have that cohesion between Kyle Shanahan, Mike's son, and Brock Purdy, who is one of the successors to Steve Young at the 49ers quarterback position. Brock has the physical ability to take the 49ers back to the top. Kyle Shanahan, we know, has the play calling ability to take the 49ers back to the top. But they have to be able to build the structure together. There has to be cohesion between play caller and quarterback at the level that they saw when they last won that Super Bowl. So that just gives you an idea of how the 49ers were operating at that time. That season, they beat the Cowboys 2 weeks prior. That season saw the 49ers truly utilize the running back position in the receiving game in a way that I don't think that the NFL was used to at that time. Maybe Roger Craig did it in the 80s, but Ricky Watters, there's this wheel route the 49ers ran to Ricky Watters in the NFC Championship game for one of the touchdowns to take a 3-score lead over the Cowboys that set the standard as far as timing and precision out of the backfield to open up other players. This 49ers team right now has Christian McCaffrey, and he's going to be healthy this next year. Isaac Guerendo, he should be healthy this next year. This is all stuff that I think is imperative to have a top-level NFL offense. Now, when we talk about top-level NFL offense, I wrote about the offensive line of the 49ers. It's up on the San Francisco Standard. This is the article I'm going to circle back to. It's part of the 8-part State of the 49ers series. The O-line for San Francisco has to take a step forward in terms of longevity. You've got to build this thing so it is set up for future success with somebody like Trent Williams, already 36 years old, and you have to build better interior pass protection. I said that it might start from the center position. The Senior Bowl is happening right now. Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State, alma mater of Trey Lance. The good-looking center, although I think that he's a little bit light right now. If you watch some of the Senior Bowl highlights of Gray Zabel, really good footwork you'll see, but I think he's getting moved back a little bit too much. He's finally playing against, top-level FBS players instead of FCS competition at the Senior Bowl. But look out for Gray Zabel if the 49ers are going to go for a long-term succession plan at center. Maybe you draft somebody like Zabel in the later rounds, mid to later rounds, and you have him work under Jake Brendel. Nick Zakel could also be working at the center position, maybe even Ben Barch. Matt Hennessy is on this roster as well, formerly a starter for the Atlanta Falcons. So this may be a way for the 49ers to go for that short-term, long-term combination at center. It was the 94 team that won that Super Bowl 30 years ago that signed a center before that season. That was Bart Oates, Steve Young's college friend from BYU. And it was huge because Oates handled the protections, and then Steve Young was able to do what he did on that field in the Super Bowl and throw those 6 touchdown passes. One more guy to look out for at this Senior Bowl is Anthony Belton. Look at this, 345 pounds. So he's big, but he's powerful. Good punch. Violent offensive tackle right now, delivering at the Senior Bowl out of North Carolina State. You see that size and you see some of the athletic ability combined with that size. that could be something that gives San Francisco the longevity and the ability to deliver offensively the way they need to. Either way, they're trying to bring it back to 3 decades ago. January 29th, 1995, exactly 30 years ago, the 49ers won their last Super Bowl. Steve Young has called it climbing Everest. Just so happens that we've got one of the most famous structures in the world that also has got some elevation to it here in Paris. Yes, that is the Eiffel Tower. 49ers trying to make it back up to the very top on this anniversary day.